Well then, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, hey, I was just playing some Luigi's Mansion on my 3DS. Say, something smells weird. Like a piece of stale bread. Oh, never mind, it's just a mediocre Sonic game collection that's got more value in its menus than its actual games. Sonic Origins, the game I praised for its great menus and side content, but criticized for its mediocre versions of Sonic 1 through 3 and K. This game has gotten updates since its release last year and since my previous video on the game, but the game barely changed at all from what I remember, though that's all hopefully changed with the release of Sonic Origins Plus. Announced a day after the release of Sonic Frontiers' sight, sound, and speed updates, Sonic Origins Plus had a lot in store for us. They had vaguely announced new challenges, which was cool, but then they went completely bonkers. 12 more games from the Game Gear, bringing the total count of games Sonic Origins has to 16, which puts Sonic Classic Collection to shame with its measly 4 games, which are technically 3. They then announced a new playable character, Amy Rose. This meant that the people who complained about Sonic Origins not having Amy could shut up, as now they finally had a pink prickly thing to mess with. Throughout March and April, they showed off some of the games that would be playable on Origins Plus, and announced what the box art was going to look like. And it looked pretty cool. The design mimicked the regional box art of the Genesis/Mega Drive's games, with North America getting the Genesis black box design, Japan getting its stylish white box design, and Europe getting its hybrid of the two. This was pretty neat. And while it'd be cool to own all 3 versions of the game, I'm not made of money, nor do I live in 3 separate regions. Besides, who needs 3 copies of a Sonic game? Later, on May 26th, my birthday, they announced another fucking newsletter. They might be making some good decisions now, but I still have some disdain for this company. Signing up for this newsletter would unlock a reward, downloadable mini posters that you can print out, if you had a printer. There were some more simple posts about Origins Plus after that, merely trying to keep the fans from frothing at the mouth at the lack of communication. They posted a speedrunning bingo card. You get a free bingo if you play Amy. Some cute screenshots of the game, fan art people made, gave a history lesson on the Napoleonic Wars, posted a video showing the new cast that would be hanging around the islands in Sonic Origins Plus, and posted Amy-specific videos like a fan cam and showing Amy being playable in CD. They gave another history lesson, this time on American industrialism. Fuck, not another chart. Wait, this one actually promotes buying physical. Okay, I approve. Wait, holy shit, there's an art book? Finally, the game released. I pre-ordered a physical Switch copy because last time either I was an idiot or they just didn't sell it physically, just like what happened with Sonic Mania. And look at this box art! Ain't it a beauty? I've seen worse. This game comes in a sleeve for reasons, but taking the game out of the sleeve, it looks nice. The cover is reversible, so you can put this with your Genesis game collection if you want to fuck with your friends. Looking at the characters on the cover, we have Sonic, Tails, Amy, Knuckles, Metal Sonic, and Eggman, all in their poses from base Origins. The sleeve that the game comes in advertises its new features like 16 games and a new character. While the game looks less ugly without the sleeve, I've kept my copy of Super Mario Maker in its cardboard box since the day I got it, so I'm not breaking tradition. This game's reversible cover looks pretty good as well. It's Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy all holding the way their games were sold as on the Genesis. Sonic with the Genesis itself, Amy with the CD, Knuckles with lock-on technology, and Tails with a Game Gear? That's not how he debuted, he was on the base Genesis too. This makes no sense compared to the rest of the characters, but actually it's a cute reference to the games he had all to himself. Tails' Adventure and Tails' Sky Patrol. They released on the Game Gear, so in that way it makes sense. Of course, given this is the physical copy of Sonic Origins, it comes with more than just the game, and this explains why it was in a sleeve. It comes with a 20-page art book! Holy shit! It has sketches of Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Eggman, and Metal Sonic, regional cover arts for each Genesis game, Game Gear Sonic game covers, mostly from Japan, the regional reversible cover art from each region, classic artwork, and concept sketches of the games themselves. Opening the case, we get a download code for the DLC included and the cartridge itself. I find it kind of weird that they did it like this, but I understand why. This is just Sonic Origins. The additional content I bought with this physical copy is just the DLC for the game, so it makes sense that it's not all in the cartridge. Loading the cartridge into the console brings up Sonic Origins, so let's just jump into the game and see what's new. Starting with the game, nothing new, just a slight title change, pressing start, there's the aliens now with Knuckles and Amy. Now, as mentioned before, this is just Origins, so I've stated my opinion on this game before. Though, I do think the game has gotten better, more on that later. There aren't that many changes from that video to this one, except that we now have 12 additional games, an extra character, and a couple minor changes to the main 4 games. Onto the first big change, Amy Rose, the newest addition to the Sonic Origins lineup. Amy is basically a smaller Sonic with a hammer that extends her jump's attack range when activated. It doesn't make you invulnerable to getting hit for a fraction of a second like Sonic's Insta-Shield from Sonic 3, it merely destroys enemies long before you ever get hit. Most of the time. I don't know if it's just me, but Amy also seems to move noticeably faster than Sonic. She also inherits Sonic's drop dash. It's sort of a hammer dash, where if you hold jump after activating her hammer, she dashes forward, swinging her hammer wildly when she lands. You can turn when you hammer dash, which is useful if you end up going right for a wall of spikes when you dash. Then again, you could just let go of the button and she'd stop. I heard that there are some people who think this is underwhelming, and to that group of people, I say cope. Playing as Amy is really fun, especially with some of the crazy shenanigans you can get up to with her. She breaks walls like Knuckles, can go fast like Sonic, especially if you abuse her hammer dash to negate the acceleration time, and combos off enemies really easily. It's a lot more fun than gliding or flying in my opinion, as there is some risk involved in doing all of this. Amy isn't necessarily an easy mode, that's Tails. She's more like a bastard form of Sonic that can destroy Eggman so quickly he wouldn't have time to finish his Eggs Benedict. I mean, look at this! Dude only got the chance to destroy 1 block! Seriously, dude didn't even get 1 hit in, what the fuck? There's some new things I discovered in Origins Plus. First off, they changed how Tails works. Now, he doesn't just get stuck somewhere, jumping continuously, and capable of returning back to you when you get too far away. If he ends up off screen for a few seconds, he respawns to catch right back up with you like he does on the Genesis versions. I didn't notice this when I played Origins originally, and I have no idea whether this is a change, but you can destroy some of the walls in Starlight Zone. I doubt this is a change, more like something that went under my radar because I barely played Knuckles into Origins. But if this is a change, let me know in the comments. And also let me know if there are other walls in other games that can be destroyed now. Also, turns out Sonic doesn't get pummeled in the head here in Green Hill Act 1 in Anniversary mode, yet he still does in Classic mode. They should fix that. Though, Sonic still gets really stuck here in Spring Yard Act 2 because unlike the Genesis version, the Springs collision doesn't disable after a few seconds, allowing Sonic to escape with ease. Also, there's some more funky stuff to note. It is not likely to be new, I just find this stuff funny. I somehow got stuck up here by jumping into this blue laser, which is supposed to grow you back to normal size when you shrunk by a red laser in Metallic Madness. Don't jump into the laser! Amy's hammer dash is apparently rotationally locked, meaning she won't rotate with slopes or loops when dashing, which looks really funny. Though this lock means she can't go up ramps or through slopes while hammer dashing, as the rotation required cancels the dash. Also, this is still a thing. Last one, this. I have no idea. I think the animation just froze on Amy here, but I'm not too sure. I'm going to dedicate an entire section of the video to Sonic 3 and Knuckles specifically because it's the one game I had a problem with last time I talked about Sonic Origins. First thing, given I was playing Amy for the video, Tails legit just lands his plane with you. Amy doesn't jump out and go super because that's reserved for Sonic because plot. This is a nice detail, but it gets irritating when it turns out this also applies to the final boss of the Sonic and Knuckles portion of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. This means when you defeat the giant robot and stop Eggman from running with the Master Emerald, that's it. You don't get to play the Doomsday Zone, because that is reserved for Sonic because plot. This actually made me a bit mad when I found it out, because I was looking forward to beating the shit out of the final robot in Doomsday as Amy. Oh well. Some of the music is still compressed to shit, but I've grown used to this being how it is in Origins because of the Michael Jackson copyright stuff, though I wish they would have at least used a better quality version of the track, or had just created new versions of the songs. Amy also looks way redder in Sonic 3's special stages than she does in Sonic 1's, 2's, and CD's. It's just the special stages as well. She looks fine in Sonic 3 and Knuckles when I'm not in a special stage. Maybe they just messed up the color palette for the special stages, or it's just me. Either way, she looks weird here. Carnival Knight's vertical tubes no longer have that problem where they wouldn't turn into solid ground properly when it finished throwing up to a higher part of the level. Also, the songs from Carnival Night onward seem to be less compressed than what I remember. If they actually swapped out the music for higher quality versions, that's a definite improvement, though I have my doubts that's what actually happened and it's just me. Eggman now flees from the Sonic 3 final boss properly, though in the Sonic and Knuckles final boss, if you have Tails with you, he seems to get ahead of Robotnik, possibly because you aren't at a full sprint when the cutscene starts, with Eggman matching that speed, while Tails starts at a full sprint, so he zooms right past. That's everything relating to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, so we should probably move on to one of the other new things promised, like the new challenges for Mission Mode. They don't exist. There's nothing really different in Mission Mode, it's still just the same old quick challenges that are really good for grinding coins. Judging from the trailer for Origins Plus, they might be referring to the extreme missions due to those being DLC, if I remember correctly, but if not, I'm not quite sure. It would have been cool to get some new missions to play with, maybe Amy specific missions, or a section for Game Gear missions. It's sort of underwhelming being promised new challenges and not seeing any new challenges in mission mode, though there's also this button called Surprise, which is a little achievement section. So I guess this is what they meant by new challenges? This tracks specific actions like playing one Game Gear game, getting a good future as Knuckles, destroying a Metal Sonic hologram as Amy, actually playing Knuckles in CD. I don't want to play Knuckles properly this time. I just don't want to play Knuckles properly! The picture that's revealed is cute. It's Sonic having a little birthday party with his friends, with Dr. Robotnik hanging around in the background. Though, while we're here in this section of the menus, let's also talk about the other main selling point of Sonic Origins Plus, hearing loss. Jesus Christ, that's loud! I have no idea if Game Gear intros are supposed to be this loud, but I thought it was a joke when I saw the leaks on Twitter. Though, despite being in a collection that's noted for recreating the games instead of emulating them, this feels authentic. It's like I'm actually emulating these Game Gear games in Origins, and I am playing remade versions of them. These games didn't feel off for clunky ports. I've played the Master System version of Sonic 1 through emulation, and the Game Gear version of the Master System version of Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis doesn't feel strange in Origins. It's slow and it's struggling to process objects on the screen like what I remember, and the physics are still strange as hell. I don't exactly get what they were going for using a face button as a start button for Game Gear games instead of, oh, I don't know, the actual start button, but I guess it works. All in all, Origins Plus is good, and its recreations of the Genesis classics have had a genuine improvement. I can forgive them for patching out well-known glitches as long as it still behaves the same, and for the most part it does. I think this made my previous video on Origins outdated. Not only is Origins a really good collection now, it actually surpasses Classic Collection. I guess all we need now is Sega Saturn and Dreamcast games, new missions for the added games, a co-op and versus mode, and a built-in pizza delivery service, and this will be the perfect Sonic game collection for a night with the boys.